customer service, done right, can be your company's single biggest competitive advantage. Welcome to the Customer Service Revolution. Join customer service authority and best-selling author John DiJulius as he interviews leaders who are revolutionizing their industries. This is more than a podcast, though. It's a movement. The Customer Service Revolution is a radical overthrow of conventional business mentality designed to transform what customers and employees experience. If you're a revolutionary customer service leader who's ready to stop competing on price and obsessed with building a brand that people cannot live without, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Customer Service Revolution podcast. I'm Denise Thompson, managing partner of the DiJulius Group, and today I'm happy to bring you our Chief Revolution Officer and best-selling author, John DiJulius. You may have heard of deja vu before, but have you ever heard of vuja day? Stick around to hear what the heck that means. Plus, you'll learn about the irreversible impact of COVID-19, the best ways to reimagine your business model, how COVID is not changing the future, it's accelerating it, how to help your employees focus on the right mindset during this pandemic, the number one attitude hack, and several other great tips on what your organization needs to do to reimagine your business model to make 2021 your best year ever. Please welcome your host of the Customer Service Revolution podcast, John DiJulius.
Welcome to the 2020 Customer Service Revolution. What a year 2020 has been. For the first time in my life, I understand the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Our theme for this year's conference is Reimagine, Revolutionize. In order to revolutionize, you must first imagine again, rethink, and recreate. And to help you reimagine and revolutionize, my presentation this week is going to be focused in two areas. Understanding the irreversible impact of COVID-19 and what are the best ways to reimagine your business model. We will not be telling our grandchildren about COVID. We will be telling them about what life was like before COVID, because it will never be the same again. Going forward, we will refer to our lives in two time frames, BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID. COVID is not changing the future, it's accelerating it. The COVID business mortality rate will be significant for the companies that don't make the necessary adjustments. The traditional ways of things like education, medicine, and office space are not coming back. For example, more than 90% of people who contracted COVID were treated and beat the virus without ever going to the hospital or stepping into a doctor's office. The future of healthcare is in telemedicine. Young professionals don't have to relocate and live in booming cities anymore like Silicon Valley, New York, or LA, the traditional hotspots. They can still work for those same organizations, but live in Omaha or Milwaukee where their family and friends are, and their money will go a lot further. General office space and company headquarters will never be the same. Organizations have realized that their support teams and call centers can be done just as productively virtually. For most employees who are working from home, it is now like they have a 25th, even a 26th hour in their day due to the lack of commuting. However, there are and will be negative side effects of being totally virtual that we will address and offer solutions throughout this conference. Google has entered the education industry, and soon companies like Amazon and Apple will. The pandemic has created a significant shift in perception of higher learning. Expensive four-year degrees are losing their luster. Career certification programs are designed to teach fundamental skills that can help job seekers immediately find employment. However, instead of taking years to finish, Like a traditional university degree, these courses are designed to be completed in only 6 to 12 months. This type of education will become the fastest growing segment in higher education. Number one cause of anxiety is uncertainty. And today, it's all about uncertainty. In a world racked by a pandemic, economic instability, a political divide, and racial unrest. Uncertainty causes anxiety. People would rather know bad news than worry about what could happen. In fact, a study conducted showed that people preferred the option of definitely getting an electric shock now versus the possibility of it happening later. Uncertainty causes paralysis. Uncertainty causes people to be on edge, react irrationally, and struggle emotionally. Those people are our employees, our customers, our family. They're even ourselves. How to reimagine your business model? We have to transition from defense to offense. The emotional impact of the pandemic does not discriminate. If someone struggles with highs and lows, depression, anxiety, this pandemic could really be having a major effect on them. As leaders of businesses, it is our responsibility to help them. The first business strategy needs to address the mental and physical health of ourselves and our internal customers, our employees. Our mind is the most important ally we have, even more important than our bodies. Don't let your mind become victims of all the insanity. Stress and fear negatively impact our immune system, and worse, our mental health. What we talk about, we bring about. Remember, our employees, our customers, even our children are watching and listening to how we react and behave. We need to demonstrate the confidence that this will pass and we will get through this. I was having a Zoom call with the CEO president of a client we work with. And we were discussing the crazy times we're in. And he admitted that he was really struggling with the depression for the first time in his life. And then he finally snapped himself out of it, making one small change. He went to parental controls on all his devices and blocked himself from all his headline news apps. He said within 48 hours, he felt like a completely different person with a much better positive outlook. With the deadly pandemic, police brutality, protests, conspiracy theories, and ugly politics, it can start to feel like humanity sucks. Doom scrolling and doom surfing are new terms referring to the addictive tendency to constantly surf or scroll through bad news. Unfettered media consumption skews our perception of reality, and it becomes easy to slide into an unhealthy pattern of belief. People who get addicted to doom scrolling report loss of sleep, stress, anxiety, fatigue, and other negative mental health symptoms. Spectating is the new cancer. Spectators are the ones using an incredible amount of time viewing reality TV, binge watching Netflix series, spending too much time on social media and headline news versus physically doing stuff like exercising, learning, collaborating, building relationships, enjoying nature, and spending quality time with family and friends. The number one common thing successful CEOs shared, it was nothing to do with their ACT scores, their GPAs, or the prestigious universities they attended. It was that they all exercise regularly. I was guilty of this as soon as the pandemic hit. I watched every season, every episode of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Then I started on Ray Donovan and The Blacklist. Listen, they were great time killers, but they didn't motivate me. In fact, they did the opposite. All the main characters were not someone I inspired to be like. So I transitioned to listening to biographies. I listened to books about the lives of Elon Musk, Howard Schultz, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Phil Knight. I found these were so much more thrilling, entertaining, and inspiring than any Netflix series. I couldn't wait to get back in the car or go for another run to see what happened next. The amount of time a person spectates versus participates correlates to their attitude, success, and happiness. Let me say that again. The amount of time a person spectates versus participates correlates to their attitude, success, and happiness. I have had people that disagreed with me about this. And in every case, these people are the ones who are struggling the most during this time. The number one attitude hack is so simple and obvious, but nearly impossible to do without conscious and intentional effort. The number one attitude hack is stop talking about negative shit. Everyone you come in contact with today, tomorrow, or next week will want to talk about the pandemic if you allow them to. Your family, friends, coworkers, customers, even you want to talk about it. Just stop it. You have to stop others and yourself from bringing it up in every single conversations. For starters, with family, friends, and coworkers, play a game. Anytime someone goes there, they have to pay $5 to the kitty. That can go towards a charity or the next round of drinks. We need to be an escape for everyone we come in contact with and for ourselves. So how do you do this when that is all everyone wants to talk about? Don't let them. Most people typically start conversations by asking, "How are you?" That could be dangerous. Certain people will use that question as an opening to vent about everything that's wrong in the world today. Speaker Steve Nudelberg suggests starting every conversation with, "Tell me something good." This forces the conversation to start on a positive note, and you end up finding out so much about the other person from asking that one single question. Be so positive that negative people don't want anything to do with you.
Have you ever considered being your own boss in a customer service career? If coaching businesses to service excellence excites you, CX Coaching may be the opportunity you've been dreaming about. Visit cxcoaching.com for more information.
In a time of uncertainty, there are only 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and customer experience. An economic fallout is always the best advertisement for the competitive advantage outstanding customer service companies have over the rest of their industry. This is an 11-year study comparing 3 groups: the bottom customer experience companies to the stock market to the best customer experience companies in all industries. The study went from 2007 to 2018, encompassing both the Great Recession and the economic boom that followed. You can see that the best customer experience companies significantly outperformed the stock market and had a 300% better return on investment than the worst customer experience companies. However, when you isolate their performances just during the Great Recession of 07 and 09, you see how the worst customer experience companies had a negative 57% return. Many of them didn't survive. The stock market struggled at a negative 16%, while the best customer experience companies posted a positive 6% return. The companies that don't invest in customer experience are the ones that their leaders don't understand the financial impact customer experience can have. You must know what victory looks like. In order to do that, you must have a return on experience dashboard, which has 3 to 4 key performance indicators that are directly tied to the level of customer experience delivered by every customer-facing employee in every department. such as increasing customer retention, re-sign rates, increasing referrals and word of mouth, increasing average customer lifetime value, improving first-time call resolution, reducing customer complaints, which also reduces call volume, and reducing advertising expense. When you have key performance indicators like that, even the CFO will get on board with improving customer experience. For example, New Day USA is a mortgage company serving military veterans. Their primary key performance indicator is called VU, Veteran Opt-out, which stands for when a veteran, after they've been approved, chooses to opt out of the loan process. This is extremely costly and a loss of revenue. So New Day has figured out for every 1% reduction in VUs, exactly how much in revenue and profit that equates to. A return on experience dashboard holds everyone in the company accountable. Do you have a return on experience dashboard? While the digital revolution was the fastest growing business segment prior to the pandemic, it is now growing exponentially faster. Self-service, touchless, virtual meetings, e-commerce, delivery, and all digital communication channels have now become preferred by most customers, even the most technically challenged. For example, a whole new market of customers found out how easy and convenient things like online grocery shopping, pharmacy, and restaurant delivery has become. A major amount of consumer habits born during the quarantine period have already continued afterwards. With the economic fallout from the pandemic likely to be broad, it's more pressing than ever to keep your customers loyal. Customer clients are deciding which brands they can forego and which brands they can't live without. This means to survive moving forward, companies not only need to pivot and accelerate to these channels and offerings while still providing a great experience at each. What do these brands have in common? Slack, Uber, Airbnb, Warby Parker, Venmo, Square, and SoulCycle. They all started during the Great Recession between 2007 and 2009. You don't have to start something from scratch. You just have to be totally open and not stubborn. The opposite of reimagine is denial, and denial can be tragic to a business. When Blockbuster was at their heyday, their CEO suggested to the Blockbuster board that they should explore a subscription model similar to what this little startup company was doing that no one had heard of, a company called Netflix. The board killed the idea because 12% of Blockbuster's revenues came from late fees. The rest is history. Right now, we have a huge opportunity to lap our competition, to crush them, gain more market share. Here is a powerful exercise we use to help our clients and our own companies focus on reinventing the future while still generating the necessary sales to get through the pandemic. This exercise requires a great deal of time with leaders from every part of your organization. The growth opportunity falls into column B. Do now, sell later. What should we be developing now that will allow us to grow 10 times faster and revolutionize our business model and leave everyone else in our industry behind? The first place you start is with one question. What do you want our business to look like 10 years from now? Once you have figured that out in specific, vivid detail, you then figure out how to make that happen in the next 6 to 12 months. So for column A, do now, sell now, the DiJulius Group immediately built a green room studio so we didn't have to interrupt the progress and momentum we had with our consulting clients. And we continue to provide keynote presentations for conferences that had to switch to virtual, as well as not interrupt our 2020 Customer Experience Executive Academy that meets every quarter in Cleveland. For column B, do now, sell later. And what we're most excited about that we've been working on since March is our new customer experience brand called CX Coaching, where we are licensing the DiJulius Group's methodology, the same one we use with the top customer service brands. We are licensing entrepreneurs all over the globe on this methodology so they can coach businesses in their market on how to elevate their customer and employee experience and join the customer service revolution. We've been wanting to do this for years, and the pandemic finally gave us the opportunity to do it. In fact, our January boot camp is already sold out. A key to reimagining is having vuja day moments. Vuja day is the opposite of deja vu. Vuja day is seeing something familiar over and over again through constant tinkering, experimenting, going down rabbit holes until it just clicks. An evolution turns into a revolution. The best way to create a vuja day is through constant consuming of information and then collaborating. What are you consuming? I ask this question every week to my customer experience consultants. What are you consuming in your area of expertise to make sure you're smarter today than you were yesterday, to ensure you're the smartest person that does what you do? Now, more than ever, we need to invest in ourselves and our future. What books and articles are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? What videos are you watching? And what webinars are you attending? This is the number one way we are going to innovate and reimagine ourselves and our businesses. You should be spending a minimum of 2 hours per day consuming valuable, inspiring information. It is my job that no one on the planet consumes more customer experience per day than I do. I want to be known as the Joey Chestnut of customer experience. You have to know who Joey Chestnut is. He is the reigning 7-time hot dog eating world champion. I want to consume customer experience like Joey Chestnut consumes hot dogs. I want to ask you, are you the Joey Chestnut in your area of expertise? In order to revolutionize, you must first reimagine, rethink, and recreate. Don't be stubborn and defensive of your existing business model. Don't be Blockbuster. Let's go make some history. Stuff they will talk about for decades that may end up being written about in the history books, redefining the way things are currently being done. Welcome to the 2020 Customer Service Revolution.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give the Customer Service Revolution podcast a thumbs up and write us a review. To hear more episodes, subscribe now on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening and for being part of the Customer Service Revolution.